Hey, we're back. I know it's been a little while. I do apologise with the holidays and stuff. And also, I just really haven't had that much I wanted to talk about, like to drive me in front of the camera. Um, but there's been a couple of YouTube videos regarding this pistol lately. So I thought I'd grab one today and see what it's all about. So there's been mixed reviews. There was some reviews from Asia that spoke very highly of it. I haven't really seen much of. And then there was one from the UK that I watched, I think it was this morning, where it just didn't work for the guy. There was a couple of parts in the video where I noticed he was like double feeding BBs and stuff, but I shouldn't have given him the results that he had. So I wanted to get one, and before I open it, put it on camera. You know I don't edit, I don't cuss and things like that, because I just crap at editing and I'm too lazy. So we always do a single take thing. I don't normally do unboxings, but I thought we'd give it a go. This will be next, by the way. I'll be installing this on video probably tomorrow, maybe Friday. This is now Wednesday evening. So let's get cracking and see what this is all about. So you can get these in the UK at the moment from High Pressure Airsoft. I think other retailers will have them this week as they drip feed in, but at the moment High Pressure is the only place that has these in the UK. Obviously Asia has been out since just before Christmas. I don't really do boxes, but the box is pretty solid. It's actually more solid than the SIG Air boxes. It's obviously licensed by Strike Industries via EMG, Evike Manufacturing Group, but manufactured by VFC. I've got quite a few VFC pistols as well as other brands and stuff, so it'd be interesting to see how this stacks up against some of the other pistols. I like the subcompacts. I've had a Glock 42. This is a pre-Umarex Glock 42 from VFC, the one that came in the Magic book before they had licensing. This for me has been a great little pistol. It's performed fantastically. Great little concealed carry when I'm doing like the milsims and stuff. The only downside is that I've got medium hands with quite long fingers, and the grip is really quite small, but it does perform very well. I've never had a problem with it. It shoots great. It's snappy. It's actually got more range than I would have expected, and a decent amount of energy too. But let's compare it to the new P365 Strike micro pistol, I think they call it, because it's not the SIG licensed one, it's the Strike Industries licensed one. So it comes in this cardboard box. We'll put the pistol aside for a moment. In the box you've got your license card, you've got a Torx wrench for the optics mount, and an Allen key for the hop up, and then you've got 2 screws to mount an optic to it. That's your instruction manual link. A lot of guns nowadays are coming with a QR link to instruction manuals instead. I actually like it rather than having loaded books and stuff, and this is just a safety precautions guide. It's pretty, if you've done airsoft you don't even need to look at it, and it's in Chinese anyway. So move the box aside and put that in there, actually keep it tidy. Move the box aside, open the wrapper, usual VFC bag. They used to stick these down, I think, I don't remember. And the mags are usually sealed. Get rid of the sticker. I hate those stickers, really do. Luckily it comes off really easy on this, it hasn't left a mark or anything. So what we got, P365. So first impressions. Now I am cheating a little bit in that in December someone else had one and I did shoot that straight out of the box, and that actually shot really good, but I didn't know that could be a winner. So let's have a look at this one. It's, for starters, the grip being wider makes a hell of a difference. It's a really nice grip. Plenty of room on there for me, especially with this magazine extension. Definitely a lot easier to grip than the 42. The length is identical to the 42 pretty much. If you go from BB to, in fact, let's do this. Oh, yeah, my tripod is actually on my measuring stick. If we take this, that's 15 centimeters, 150 millimeters, and this one is ever so slightly short of that, so 14.5. So the 42 is slightly shorter. The slide width is pretty much the same, with the exception of the P365 have these little wings on the back, which are very reminiscent of the VP9, just to enable you to cock the slide a little bit easier. But the grip width is the biggest difference. That's huge. And the grip length is longer too, as you can see there. So it does make gripping it a lot easier. Trigger guard's nice and large. Take the magazine out. It's a double stack mag, which again is different to Glock 42, so you'll get more gas capacity. Try and use words. You get high gas capacity, but you also get a high BB capacity. I always load my mags generally to the real spec anyway, so that doesn't bother me too much, but having more gas is good because it means you're going to get through in colder weather. It'll also get a little bit more cold weather resistance because single stack mags do cool down faster. Let's feel the slide then. Oh, that's actually butter smooth. That's actually really smooth. And with those ears on the back, it does make it easy to cock. Now, the other reviewer did mention there's a lot of oil on his, and there is quite a bit of oil on mine. The outer barrel, the recoil guide, and the front of the nozzle. So I would recommend cleaning your hop out, but I would do that with any new pistol. Slide release. He said he couldn't activate his slide release, but mine's fine. Try with the magazine in. No, mine's fine. It's quite a small, low profile slide release. You can probably see there. So it's not the easiest to catch, but it's not super hard or anything. Maybe that's just this one and the one I tried before, or maybe just his was not quite to spec. I don't know. We'll put a little bit of gas in the magazine. I've got some Vorsk V6 that I picked up at a site last time I was on site. Goes into battery. There obviously there's no BBs in at the moment, so ooh, that's snappy, and it's quite a decent kick as well. That's quite nice actually. So we'll put a couple of BBs in the mag, and we'll see how it goes. I do have a catch box behind here, by the way. I'm not shooting at the back of my office desk. There is actually a catch box right behind the camera, or between the camera and the light, technically. But the magazine goes in nice and easily. It's a little bit stiff to get out though, but I actually quite like that. I don't like it when they're too easy to remove, but if you are a little bit worried about sticky mags, this one doesn't drop free as easily. Oh, doesn't drop free as easily as some. Partially loaded that BB when I slammed the magazine in hard. Right, let's put the mag in, let the working parts forward. This is another thing that the Jaeger, the UK reviewer, mentioned, is that there was no spring action to close the slide. This one's closed fine, it's flush. Let's give it a go. Ooh. That's actually nice. Locks back on empty. Not a problem there. If you put a couple through the chrono, I've got some 0.2s here. I don't use 2s myself, but I've got a couple here. So I'm going to put some through the chrono. I only put a little bit of gas in that magazine for the moment, just to see if it works, but we'll see if the chrono can get a reading. I'm going to have to step back a little bit though. Probably find something to balance the chrono on, because I've got to hit the catch box, not the bottom of it. So, right, 231.6, 233.9, 225.1, 228.5, 227.6. So it's relatively consistent over those few shots. Now, unfortunately, I had the chrono set to 0.3. You can see that last shot reading there. And I don't believe the joules, because obviously it's telling me we've got 0.7 of a joule. We haven't, because we're not reading our 0.3, so it's probably about 0.5 of a joule, which is okay. Let's just switch the chrono off, conserve the batteries a little bit. I haven't adjusted the hop yet, obviously. You just saw me take it out of the box. Let's see if we can get this slide off. I think this is, yeah, there we go. So let's have a look. We'll take out the recoil springs. Yeah, there's a lot of oil on there. So I would recommend giving it a good clean out, and you can really see it on the barrel there. There is a little bit of scratching, which was mentioned by Jaeger on the bottom. That is where it catches the nested recoil springs, I think. And so I look into the hop. Barrel is nice and clean, actually. Let's see if you can see that. I don't know. Barrel is nice and clean. There's no positive hop on at the moment. Now, sometimes with no positive hop, the BBs will just drop out the barrel, and you won't get a full reading. So we'll see if they fall out the barrel when I put the slide back on. The lower frame is extremely light without the slide on it. Really is very, very light. Very nice and basic inside. Nothing too surprising. That is so smooth, though. I'm actually really shocked at how smooth that is. So let's get a couple more BBs, and we'll see if they fall out the barrel with no hop on. We'll go from there. I'm not going to top the magazine off, so we'll see how it does with gas, with that tiny little squirt of gas that I've already put in there. See if it's enough to empty this, what is it, 8 PBs. I didn't fill the magazine gas up. Chambers nicely. It's not dropping BBs, so there's not a lot of oil in the hop, and even with no hop on, it's giving a positive seal. So that's good. Let's fire a shot. Do the same again. Right. Let's tilt it this way so you can see it. That's actually got quite a strong kick, you know. I don't know if you can see. It's actually, I can feel it on the back of my wrist here. Let's do it this way. Yeah, I'll get towards the end of the gas. No BBs left. And it locks back. So, even with that little amount of gas in there, it actually seems quite efficient. I'm actually really shocked for that slide. See the action of the 42. There should be a little bit of gas in here. I always store it with a little bit. Yeah. So I would say that the slide on the SIG is smoother, for sure, but that's because, as with most airsoft Glocks, it's got that internal hammer that you get that ratchetiness, which is why I like the GHKs. It's a much smaller pistol than you would first think, I'll say that much. When you see it on camera and when you see it on photos and things, it doesn't tell you how small it is. It really is quite small. Let's put it next to a Glock. So there's a Glock 17, my Gen 3 GHK. And if we line that up the back of the slide, you can see just how small it is. It really is. And in fact, let's put the Glock against the box. And you can see the box is actually really small. In actual fact, the Glock is as wide as the box as well, so pretty much. One thing Jaeger did mention is that the grip comfortability, and I agree 100%, it's a really comfortable grip, and he mentioned how the last time he held a gun that was so comfortable was the VP9. This is my VP9 that I've had since day one release. And it is the most comfortable pistol I've ever picked up too. I completely agree with James on that one. It is super, super comfortable. What I don't agree with is that mine has been absolutely superb. I used to use this as my main sidearm, and it is it has been a great pistol. The only change I've made is I've got a Meprolite sight on mine, glow in the dark front sight. Mine's had no problems at all, and it's been skirmished and used for milsims and what have you. So obviously user miles may vary, but the P365 grip is quite reminiscent of that, but obviously smaller. Let's try the trigger, shall we? So again, that slide is surprisingly smooth. So we'll take the trigger. There's quite a lot of slack there, but then you can feel the wall. Will it break straight through? That's quite a strong break. That's quite a good break, actually. Let's hold the trigger in. Try the reset. A little bit of take up. I didn't feel that reset. Let's try again. Oh, it didn't reset. Maybe I didn't. Take two. So we'll try it. It's because I was holding it with my thumb, wasn't it? Hold it. Now I'll try to reset. There we go. That's actually not a bad reset. Is that not resetting? Is it me? It is resetting. You've got to come off it ever so slightly for it to reset. Don't know that. That didn't reset then. So if you are holding that trigger down, you've got to That's interesting. So let's look at that closer. So we'll take the magazine out of the Glock. So when you try the trigger on the Glock, it's a Glock trigger, it's not great. We can keep that finger held right to the rear, and then the reset's there. That's actually quite a good reset for the Glock 42. Very short. It seems the P365 doesn't like you doing that. I did then. Yeah, you just got to come off it a little bit more. So you don't want to be holding that right against the back when you're testing it. Obviously in use you're not going to be holding it right to the back anyway. You're going to be coming off a little bit more, but it's actually quite a nice trigger for a SIG trigger. It's not too bad at all. I'd say it's, I think again, there's a lot of take up, but then when it hits that wall, it really is, it's probably about a 4.5 pound trigger, you know, and it's quite a crisp let off. See, it hasn't reset. So I would say that's not resetting as it should do, or as I would expect it to. Obviously that's not how you would be using it anyway, but it's not really the point. You've got to come off the trigger ever so slightly for it to reset. So that's a little bit of a quibble with it, I guess. But overall, that's not bad at all. Should we try some 0.3s in there and see how that shoots? Let's chrono it with some 0.3s. Sorry, I had to go away from camera a little bit then. I don't know why the latest software update on my phone, the camera is trying to do this autofocus thing a little bit too obsessively for my liking. So just give it a little squirt of gas. I don't want to keep a lot in there. But let's put that back in. That's interesting. Check there's not one in the chamber. Oh, that's fine. I think I was just messing with the trigger a little bit then. 0.6 joule. No read. 0.57. 0.55. Misread. I wonder what happened with that when I put that in then. I think I may have been holding the trigger down a little bit. Interesting. Right. Not had a problem since, so very strange. Right, I think, so we'll go from there. As you can see, I'm not having issues with it getting stuck on feeding. I'm not having issues with it going failing to go into battery or anything like that. I did just have that weird, it fired off when I slammed the magazine in, but I think I probably pulled the trigger at the same time. I'll try and watch the camera back and see if I can see that. I'm just going to put a couple of rounds back in. Yeah, because it hasn't done it again. So. No, that's not right. That's not right at all. That means the sear's not catching. I nearly double fed it then. It's fine. Weird. So we did have a couple of weird moments there. I'm going to try it again, just with some more mags, some more ammo in it. Do some more of these .2s, because I don't mind just blasting them into the fucking box. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the working parts forward and let the action go. Put the magazine in. So that just happened again. Did you see that? That is interesting. Let's try again. That's fine. I'm wondering. This is why we do it live, see? Well, not live, but you know. I think there's just too much oil on there. Should we remove just a little bit of that oil? Let's get some scissors. If you're wondering what I'm using, by the way, I use this British Army barrel cleaning stuff. It's actually just really good for wiping things over, including my glasses. Just going to get rid of some of that excess. Do that as well. So I would advise definitely just giving these a wipe when you get them. There is far too much oil on here. There is O-rings on the barrel there as well. That's interesting. Yeah. So, recoil spring. Put the slide back on, onto the rear. Obviously not like that. That's not seated in properly. Right, slide back on, and then we'll try again. That's better. Right, so again, we'll let the action forward, put the magazine in, again it goes. So, that is a fault. That is not good. That is not good at all. If we let, right, I guess. If we if the action's cocked when you do it, it definitely doesn't do it. I'm going to let the action off again. Tap that in. Yeah, that's not good at all. So, what is going on there? If the action's cocked, it won't do it, as you can see. But if the action's not cocked, you're short stroking the slide. That's what it is. It seems that you're able to short stroke the slide, maybe. Let's try again. Yeah, you're able to short stroke the slide by doing that. That still shouldn't happen, by the way. That is not good. So, we said all these nice things. It shoots great, and then we found out that the sear is not catching with all that oil in it. It works fine if you make sure the action's cocked. It also works fine if you have the slide open. But if you cock it when the slide is down, ooh, let's try that again. Yeah, see, cock it when the action's down. It is possible to do that. Decock it again. That is really weird, isn't it? That is really weird. It's a repeatable fault, and it is when you let that slide go forward with the action not cocked. Easy to make it happen. What I can assume is happening is that there's way too much grease on the sear, and when you slingshot that slide, it's not catching it. So I'm not going to mess with this. I am going to investigate. I'm going to take it back. I'm going to investigate and see if they all do it, or if it's just this one with the amount of grease in it. How odd though. That is a shame. This pistol is really nice. It seems to shoot great. Obviously I can't test the range right now, but can't give it a pass with that fault. That shouldn't be doing that. So what I would say is, if you do get one, make sure the action's cocked, so the hammer's cocked before you put the magazine in, maybe, or do it on an open slide. That way the action is also cocked, because that is really, really odd. Or just make sure you get it from somewhere where you can test it. Is either one. Let's try it again. See, it's not doing it now. Did it then. I think it's all that grease. Yeah, it's all that grease. I think as you get that grease out, it will stop it. Yeah, it's getting better now, to be honest. That said, we're out of gas. Right, wow, there we go. So there is a problem with this pistol, and that is that it was just literally firing off when you rack the slide on a lowered action. Whether that is a problem, a broader problem, we don't know yet, but I will investigate and I will follow up with you on that. Or whether it's just this one and it's where the grease has got into, because they really have put too much grease in there to preserve it during shipping, and I think it's just not allowing the sear to catch. I think that's what it is. Oh yeah, I can see, actually. I can see the oil on the sear. Wow, I don't know if you can see that. There's oil all in that sear. I use a pokey thing. I'm going to try and get as much of this out as I can, and then we'll retry it just very quickly. So that's turned into a bit more of a mission than we thought it was going to, isn't it? It is such a nice pistol too. Let's put a little more gas in there. Just a touch. See if that's helped at all. Yeah, that's helped straight away. So it does appear that it's it's back. It does appear that it is that oil in the sear. that's just stopping the sear from catching. But that's not good. That's really not good. So my advice at the moment is maybe don't. Maybe don't. It's such a nice pistol. You see, here's the breakdown for me. It was fine then, oddly. And then again. So for me, I would just clean it out and stop it from doing that. But also, I wouldn't be putting a magazine in and then racking it from a lowered hammer. But it's not what it should do. It's simply not what it should do. So we can't give it a pass. It's just not good. And it's such a shame because everything on this pistol is so nice. The slide action is extremely smooth. It feeds very, very well indeed. It's snappy. It gives a decent chrono result for something with such a short barrel and a small piston. But that's sear not catching. And it's all because somebody at the factory has gone over the top on the oil. And this is the problem. This was a problem before with certain VFC rifles and them gluing everything. And now we have an oiling problem. So we'll report back. But we're going to leave it at that. I love the pistol. It's amazing. But they can't over oil it like that and get away with it. It's just not on. So tell VFC they need to stop putting so much oil on it. I'll report back by the shop that that's the case. I will give it a dry out, a degrease, and see if that sorts it. But it looks to me as if they just put way too much oil in the hammer sear connection, and it's not able to catch when you cock it from a lowered action, which is not good. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Put your comments down. We'll have a chat about it, and we'll report back. Probably in a short, to be honest with you, rather than doing a long video. We're doing a video on this. This is going into my KS1, my VFC KS1. So we'll do a video on that. And I should do a video on this at some point because this is unspoken of. And it is a great pistol. We will do a video on this at some point. But for now, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Speak to you soon. Take care.